Hi everyone, and welcome to my yoga channel, Tom Yoga Om. Today's practice is all about stretching into the hips and the hamstrings and the lower back to get ourselves ready for some long and extended travel. I know from recent experience just how much your back and your legs and your whole body can get stiff during extended travel on a bus or a plane or in a car, and stretching and doing a little bit of yoga beforehand can be really helpful in making the difference between you feeling great when you arrive or you feeling really stiff and tight. So that's what we're going to do today. One thing to note before we begin the practice is if you've got a strap handy or a belt or a towel, we're going to use it a little bit in this practice to stretch into the hamstrings. So be sure to grab one before we begin. Let's get to it. To begin with, come to a comfortable seat. Make sure that your hips and your knees are feeling okay. Take your hands onto your thighs or your legs. Close your eyes and take 5 deep breaths here to settle in and to tune out your day. One more full breath in and out here. When you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. You start by rolling your shoulders and massaging into the space around the neck as you do so. Keep the breath rolling in and exhale out. And then change the rotation. One more breath. We're just going to massage into the neck muscles a little bit. So start by placing your hands onto your thighs and then squeeze your shoulders up into your neck. And as you exhale, just drop your shoulders down and sigh out of your mouth. Let's do that 4 more times. Really let them drop down, hanging heavy. Nice. To massage into the neck a little more, let's start to circle the nose. Breathing in and out. One more breath in this rotation. And then change directions. Cool. Come back to a neutral position. Before we stretch into our hamstrings, we're going to open up around the hips and the lower back. So just come and bring your hands out in front of you and spider crawl them as far forward as you can until you feel a stretch in your back. You're trying to keep your spine nice and long and elongated here. So work to extend out through the top of your head as though you're trying to head a football. And as you exhale, keep your hips glued to the floor and simply lower your torso, so your whole chest down towards your mat. Once you feel a stretch in your lower back, take 3 deep breaths into that space. After your 3rd breath, lift up onto your fingertips and walk your hands over to the left side of your mat. This will bring the stretch more so into the right side of your lower back, which is what we're going for. And once again, lift your torso up, extend out through the top of your head. And as you exhale, simply lower your chest downwards until you find that stretch in the right side of your lower back. Take 3 breaths here. And just notice what's going on in your body. Notice how your energy's going. And keep breathing. When you're ready, you can walk your hands back to center and over to the other side, finding the stretch in the left side of your back, extending out through the top of the head and tilting that torso down. Take 3 deep breaths. When you're ready, press into your hands and walk yourself back to a vertical position. From here, extend your legs out in front of you. And this is where we're going to need the strap or the towel or the belt. And it really doesn't matter what you use, so long as you can take the item around the pads of your feet. And what we're looking to do, and the benefit and the reason why we use a strap, is that it gives us an ability to hold onto it and straighten our back, and then to draw ourselves forward without reaching and compromising the structure of our upper body. So when we don't use a strap, sometimes what we do if we're tight in the hamstrings is we reach forward and all these muscles in the neck and the shoulders tighten up. And this kind of compromises what you're trying to focus on, which is a stretch into your hamstrings and your lower back. By taking the strap, we can keep our torso and our trunk nice and vertical, draw those toes back, take a big breath into the belly and the chest, and simply bend at the elbows. And you might feel the stretch a little bit sooner than you would if you had rounded your back and reached forward with your arms, but that's okay, because we're not trying to touch the toes, we're trying to stretch the hamstrings and the lower back. So find wherever your stretch feels good, hold that position, and take 3 deep breaths. Relax those shoulders and keep extending out through the top of your head. Good. When you're ready, you can release the strap a little bit. We're going to take the right foot into the left thigh, and we're going to take the strap around the pad of that left foot. Take the strap into your right hand. Inhale to sweep your left arm up. And as you exhale, just place your left hand on the outside of your left leg and fold yourself over to the left side of your left leg. Extend out through the top of your head and breathe into wherever you feel the stretch. 3 breaths. After your 3rd breath, take your left hand onto the strap. So now the strap is in both hands. Inhale to lift your chest and your belly up. And as you exhale, again, bend at the elbows, reach your head forward and fold yourself down to a space where you feel the stretch. Take 3 breaths here. And what I encourage you to do is to close your eyes and breathe deep into the belly, deep into your back. And as you exhale, feel the muscle where you feel the stretch relax a little bit. And if you feel it give way and it does so in a relaxed state, it doesn't feel strained, pull yourself a little deeper into the stretch until you find that new limit of that stretching sensation. Take 1 more breath here. When you're ready, you can slowly press into your foot, release the strap, reach your hands forward, and to use a little bit of strength in our back, we're going to sweep our arms up to the ceiling. And then exhale them down through heart center. Now I'm going to turn on the mat, but I want you to stay where you are. It's just so that you can see me. Before we were in this position with our left foot forward and our right foot pressing against our left thigh, We're going to now take that right foot and open it out and away from that left leg. So there's a bit of space there. We're going to fold forward between the two legs, and this will stretch onto the inside of the hamstring or around the groin. Hold on to the strap with your left hand. Take your right arm up. And as you exhale, bring your right hand down onto your right knee and tilt forward from the hips. Reach out through the top of your head. And if you can, try and straighten your right arm. And this kind of encourages you not to round your back. You can't straighten the arm if your back is rounded, but you can if your torso is nice and straight, right? And then we're just tilting forward from the hips, and that is the method you use to find the stretch in your hamstrings, on the insides of them. Take 3 breaths here. Breathing down into the belly and into the back. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and gently press into both feet to lift your body up to a vertical position. From here, we're going to loosen that left hand in the strap a little bit, so we're taking a little bit more slack. And we're going to do our best to drop our left elbow onto the inside of our left leg, the extended leg. So it might fall down here, it might come all the way down here, and it really depends on how flexible your lower back is and how much space it's going to give you today. So I'm going to drop mine pretty close, so my lower back feels a little sore. From here, I want you to press your left arm into your left leg to twist your right shoulder backwards. Then sweep your right arm up. Look up to the ceiling, and as you exhale, reach your right hand over towards your left leg. Some people like to take the strap into that right hand as well. You don't need to do that. Just do what feels good for you. And take 3 deep breaths. Focus on the right side of your lower back as well. When you're ready, sweep your right arm back behind you, reach it all the way back, release the strap, sweep both arms up, and exhale your hands through to your heart center. Nice. Extend your right leg out now, and take your left foot into your right thigh. Take the strap around your right foot, and from here, take the strap into your left hand. Lift your right arm up as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, place it onto the outside of that right leg. Fold your torso down. You know what to do here. Breathe deep and take 3 deep breaths. After that 3rd breath, take the strap into your right hand as well. Inhale to lift your belly and your torso up. And as you exhale, reach out through the top of your head. Fold yourself down and find the stretch in your hamstring or your lower back. 3 breaths. Try to soften the space where you feel the stretch. And after that 3rd exhale, release the strap, sweep your hands forward and then up to use those back muscles. Breathing in. Exhale your hands through to your heart center. Good. I'm just changing sides, but you're still facing the same way. We're going to take the strap into the right hand now, take the left foot away from the right leg, sweep the left arm up, and as you exhale, take the left hand onto the left knee. I like to point the fingers in, so they're kind of pointing inwards towards the hips, and then keeping that left arm nice and straight, we're simply folding ourselves forward, reaching out through the top of the head, finding the stretch on the inside of that right leg. 3 breaths. Good job. From here, we're going to lift ourselves up, straightening the torso. Then we're going to take a little bit more slack in the strap and place our right elbow onto the inside of that right leg. From here, turn your left shoulder back behind you, reach your left arm up, look up to the ceiling, and then reach your left arm over and above that right leg. Take 3 deep breaths here and breathe into the space of the left side of your lower back. Keep reaching out through the top of your head. And when you're ready, sweep your left arm back behind you. Inhale to lift both arms up. And exhale your hands down through to your heart center. Good. Now, because we've opened up into the hamstrings and the lower back, extend both legs out in front of you. Take the strap around both feet and into both hands. And inhale, breathe into your belly and into your chest. And as you exhale, reach out through the top of your head and fold yourself down. And you should find that there's a little bit more leeway, a little bit more space, and a little bit more stretch in your muscles. Take 3 breaths here. Keep your shoulders relaxed. When you're ready, press into your feet and lift yourself up. Now we're going to stretch into the piriformis muscle, which is kind of around the hamstring. It lies on the outside of your leg. When we open our legs out and we fold down the middle, we kind of stretch into the inside of the hamstring. It's really like the groin and the adductor muscles. But to get into the outside, it's a little bit more complicated. So what we're going to do is come into a cross-legged position. And I'd like you to bring your shins, or your tibias, which is these parts of your body here, parallel to the top of your mat. So I don't want your shins to be drawn in, like when we're cross-legged. They're kind of pressed out, right? So they're parallel, like a train track, and in line in the same manner with the top of your mat. I'm making a point about this because in my classes when I teach them, a lot of people don't seem to get it. So it might be the way that I'm explaining it, but let's see how you go. It's in the same alignment as the top of the mat. From here, what we're going to do is just make note of which leg is in front of the other. So for me, it's my right leg. And then from here, take your hands out in front of you, breathe into your belly and your chest. And as you exhale, just fold your torso down and you should start to feel a stretch on the outsides of your legs. Maybe it's around the knees or around the hips. That's what we're going for. Just breathe into that space. Take 3 deep breaths. When you're ready, bring yourself back to a vertical position and just change the fold of your legs. So bringing, for me, the left one in front of the right. Might be different for you. And again, bring your shins parallel to the top of the mat. When people don't feel anything in the stretch, it's usually because their legs are too turned inwards towards their hips. Nice. Bring your hands out in front of you. Breathe into your belly and your chest. And as you exhale, fold yourself down and stretch into the sides of your legs, sides of your knees, your glutes. Good. Press into your hands and slowly bring yourself up. From here, once again, we're going to straighten the legs and we're just going to massage the knees and massage the ankles just to kind of get the blood flowing again. Some people like to tap the knees like so. And when you're ready, we're going to take our left foot underneath our right thigh, like so. Then we're going to take our right foot, place it onto the outside of our left knee, left thigh. I'd like you to wrap your arms around your right leg. And if you can feel a stretch in your right glute, then that's great. You can stay here. If you can't feel a stretch, I'd like you to take your right arm up, bring it back behind you, and then take your left elbow onto the outside of your right leg and use the right leg and the left arm to press against one another to twist yourself to your right side. Press down into your right hand so that you don't collapse backwards and so that you can keep a nice straight spine. And look towards your right shoulder. Take 3 deep breaths here. When you're ready, slowly come back to center, extend both legs, give them a tap, and then take your right foot underneath your left thigh. Take your left foot onto the outside of your right leg and hug that left leg in. I'll say it again, if this feels like enough of a stretch because it's really deep and intense in that left glute, hold here. It's totally fine. If you do want to take it further and you feel like you can, inhale, lift that left arm up, bring it back behind you, and then take your right arm onto the outside of that left leg and press the two into one another and look towards your left shoulder. Take 3 deep breaths. Let's do one more. Good, and when you're ready, come back to center and tap your legs out, like so. We're going to come into staff pose Dandasana. We're almost done. Take your hands beside your hips, point your fingers forward. Inhale, pull your toes back. And as you exhale, point the toes. Just do that for 2 more breaths. We call this flossing the nerves. And when you're ready, you're going to bring your feet flat onto the floor, send your hips towards your heels, and come all the way down onto your back. Now to massage into your lower back, bring your knees into your chest and circle them a couple of times. Nice and slow. And the opposite way, keep breathing. And from here, bring your feet flat on the floor. Take your hands beside your feet. Press down into your hands and your forearms, as well as your feet. And on your next inhale, squeeze the muscles of your glutes just a little bit and roll your hips up into a bridge pose. Hold here, feeling the stretch on the front sides of your thighs and around the hips. Take 3 deep breaths. Keep those glutes engaged a little bit. One more full breath in. And as you exhale, roll your spine down onto the floor, vertebrae by vertebrae. Well, the final stretch we're going to do here is to bring our legs to a 90-degree angle. Take your arms out into cactus arms and drop your knees over to the right side of your mat. You might need to shuffle a little bit and try to look towards your left arm. Take 3 deep breaths. When you're ready, bring your legs back to a neutral position and just come to the other side. Look towards the opposite arm. And when you're ready, come back to that neutral position and simply walk your legs out nice and long onto the ground. Take one hand onto your belly and one hand onto your chest. And to close this practice, we're going to take 5 deep breaths in and out. Soften your gaze or close the eyes. Let your legs and your arms relax. Feel the muscles on your face relax. And take a deep breath in through the nostrils, feeling your hands rise up as you breathe in. And exhaling out nice and slow. Take 4 more breaths like that and take the time to notice how your body is feeling, especially around the hamstrings and around the hips. If you'd like to stay here, you're very welcome to. Otherwise, for the rest of us, just begin to wriggle your fingers and your toes. On a breath in, reach your arms back behind you and stretch your toes out. And as you exhale, bring your knees into your chest and give them a squeeze. Make your way up to a comfortable seat at the top of your mat. And before we close this class with 3 deep breaths, roll your shoulders a couple of times to massage into that space and to loosen up around the shoulders and the neck. Breathing in and out. Rotate in the opposite direction. Breathing in and out. Find a place of stillness and take 3 deep breaths. Thank you for joining me for today's practice. If you enjoyed that practice, you can really help this channel grow by sharing it with your friends and leaving me a thumbs up. I hope to see you again. Namaste.